This week is about what do I deserve? Which are my boundaries? And which relationship do I want to take to the next level? Welcome.
Hi there, Virgos, and welcome to your Modern Shaman, Maria and RainbowLand here with the weekly forecast. Heartful forecast for the week that starts at the 15th and ends at the 22nd of October 2018. This week we're going to start out with your personal sign, and then we're just going to do that for 5 to 7 minutes. And for the ones that, because there's some people who only want a short facts, not too much astrology, not too much light worker stuff, going into depth, and therefore I gave them the chance to just watch the first 7 minutes. After that we're going to go into the depths of things. It's not that the first part isn't important, it's just, you know me if you've been on the channel, I love to go deeply into this stuff. Okay, so first of all I want to say it's the last week, this week, that I've been drawing someone who win half an hour free consultation with me, if they shared this video on social medias, because I'm going to go on silent retreat for 1 week with nothing. No communication, no electronics, nothing. Just me and my spirituality. That is one of the most awesome ways to clear and clean yourself, I must say. Therefore I need to take a break. But this week's winner is a German lady, an actress apparently, or she is, called Felicitas France from Germany. Congratulations, Felicitas. Last week it was a Colombian woman, a Scorpio. This week it's an Aries. Okay, so Virgos. This week, before I continue, let me show you what's on the other side here. This week, isn't it pretty? Isn't it beautiful? We are burning the old stuff. We are taking something old away and opening up to something new. Right? So this week it's all about your self-worth, your finances, your resources, you committing yourself to how to build up your foundation of money and security around the money that you have, and altering in a certain way. Let's not look at me, it's so beautiful around me that I'm kind of like, why not see this nature? Nature brings us into our own nature, and it's so healthy, and you're an earth sign, you like this. So you are committing to manifest something in your life, something that you want to make real, something that you want to ground and make actually happen out of the head into the real life. And for example, it could also be, I'm sorry, more money. But if you want this to happen, you kind of have to open up to another way of thinking. And get other ideas than you usually have, and yeah, you what I mean to say is that you have to open your mind up to different ways of thinking, to new ideas. You have to change your mind. You have to, if you want to commit yourself to altering this life of yours financially as well, you of course have to change something, and that means you have to open up your minds to different ways of thinking. Not your minds, I mean of course your mind to different ways of thinking. It's your planet in your third house conjuncting Venus at the beginning of this week, so you will definitely perhaps meet people who will make this clarity for you, say something, and you will. It can also be that in your relationships you will really see that you are changing the ways that you communicate with people. That could be a part of the mind opener, that you also choose to let go of some people that maybe aren't that good for you, that you now realize that it has to leave your life in order to make space for this new plan that you are having. So you're gonna have a change probably of what your vision of your life is. It will probably change, yes. So it's, what can I say? How can I say it? What do you want to commit to? You will know that inside of you, and then believe that you deserve this, and know that if you have a longing and a feeling of, okay, but I belong to this, or I belong here or there, and I want to go for that, then open up to how you get there by going inside and use your intuition, because Mercury in the 3rd house of Scorpio for you guys, usually your planet likes to rationalize, even though actually you're used to the 3rd house being Scorpio for communication and movement is the third house. So the way you rationalize is actually feeling things rather intensely. So when you have an idea of something, it's in a certain sort of intensity, and okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how I feel it's right. This is how, and then you communicate it. And there's a boundary here that needs to be broken down inside of you, so that your mind breaks free from a stuck thing and it gets altered. Because in Scorpio we transform on a deep level. We take the heavy dark stuff and we transform it into life by altering it. But first you have to see where you're stuck, so that you can let go. It's not because you're stupid. We all transform all the time. So it's just a matter of being in the flow and trying to see what comes when you let go, release and let go. Let me see, because I'm doing something that I like this week. I have so many card decks. I have a whole box full of card decks. And I'm going to use the tarot as I usually do, the Rider-Waite traditional ones. My father gave me when I was 12. And I'm going to use these today for the Virgos. What is the astrology card of the week? These are astrology cards. That is the astrology card of the week. What is mostly important for the Virgos this week? I mean, lunar eclipse change. That is interesting. We could look upon this, considering it to be the lunar eclipse that started in the beginning of August or late July in Leo in your 12th house, because there you were really asked to change and to let go of something from your past, so you could release and be ready for the new. But a lunar eclipse is also the end of something and the beginning of something new in your life. And this is really in your feelings, in your thoughts, and because this whole year after half a year after the lunar eclipse until the next phases of eclipses in the beginning of February, we are working on these themes. So in order for this new manifestation, financial, like money manifestation, and self-worth issues, you're committed to make or change, probably have something to do with what it was that you had to let go of at the end of July, beginning of August. Maybe this is going to come up again somehow in a new light, in a new phase, perhaps as a new phase for you to let go of it again. Let us see what the tarot card is of the week. Maybe it puts, where are the tarot cards? They are here. Another light upon this. Could also just be that inner change you have to make, where your mind is altering, where you change the fixed way. Your mind can sometimes be a little fixed, Virgo, so sometimes you might need to put a little bit of flexibility into the way that you communicate and not be too strict and too critical. So the Virgos of this week, the card of the week for the Virgos. This guy has been fighting a little too hard. He wants a break. He's afraid of the next attack. Too much going on. It's the 9. The card of 9 is also ending something, and he's okay, but he's bruised and battered. So maybe you feel this week that, come on, give us a break. We want to. It's a little too hard for the Virgos right now, perhaps. Maybe you feel like the lessons have been too hard. You've lost too many people. You have lost too many things that maybe it wasn't easy for you to let go of. So now you're like, even this man is bruised in his head, and we just talked about his mind. Can you see he has a what do you call it, a band around his head, band-aid, not a band-aid, but yeah. So maybe it's time for you Virgos to also give yourself a little bit of a break, because this man is kind of expecting a new attack where he has to fight, and he needs to calm down. And maybe the change that is there is maybe a little bit of sorrow still of the people he lost, or the people that are no longer part of his life in a way, the way that they used to be. I give you all my love and my hugs and yeah, care. Don't follow trends, follow your heart. Now we go on with the collective report. Well, so the collective part of this week will be a talk where you look upon beautiful things that I'm filming from the air, places that I love, that are charged with spiritual and divine energy. Don't you feel it? Yeah, I think you do. It's both at my home and very close to my home here in Denmark. Our home, I mean, of course. Yeah. So let's see. This week, well, I want to start with actually Mercury, of course, because Mercury is the main character of this week. He's conjuncting Venus in the beginning of the week and he's squaring the node. So, and actually I just want to say about Mercury that he's retrograding from the 17th of November to the 7th of December. So we will have a Mercury retrograde coming soon enough. So we have Mercury squaring the node. So this has something to do with, are you actually going to, in your life, are you actually bringing forth the childlike, more playful, heartful side of yourself? Or are you more like, because Leo is where the North Node is, and are you going to be like the more rebellious, radical, and genius Aquarius? Which side to choose is what it's asking really now. So, but we have to know that the South Node is, of course, are we really going to get anything out of being radical and rebellious now that the South Node is here, even though Mars is also here? Because Mars in Aquarius is gonna wanna, go into these wild, weird worlds where we can express our deep, radical selves, But I don't think it's a great idea when we have the South Node here where we are not supposed to go. So, well, the question is also: are you really who you think you are, or is it just an identification with an ego that you have built a house upon, a rotten fundament? Like, is it really time now to find out who you really are? I mean, we are dealing with our trouble sides, of course, and we have Chiron in Pisces, so it's also about the guilt and the shame of all the things that fell apart in our lives, and the most sensitive things, and the most intense feelings and emotions on a dramatic level. Like, feelings are changing. And this Mercury-Venus conjunction Monday evening here in Denmark, with Mercury in Scorpio, we are here. He's investigating things on a deep level, not only just on the surface or in the mind. It's on the most deep emotional level, and he's kind of like, he wants to investigate so much there, so much more intense than other places. So he's trying to find a better suggestion for a life plan, for what we want, and how we can manifest deeper, more real understandings of, like, we're trying to understand and see the deeper layers of life here, and we're going to discover these deeper unconscious layers of ourselves. So, but the question is, again, with this bipolar sign of Scorpio, which ones takes us to the higher realms of consciousness and to our open heart, and thereby to true love, right? Which ones doesn't? Which ones are like taking us down bad paths with bad people for us? Weird and ugly stuff. Because Scorpio is, of course, his transcendence from darkness into light, and yeah, he's just like these beautiful things that can come out of it, and a force that can push forward. But he's also the ruler of sexual things like diseases and obsession and dominance, and things that the darker side of our nature. So with Jupiter here, it's just like multiplying things by 5. You might take it a little too far with these taboos in life, because he can be a bloodsucker, this fella. So these signs with Mars are in Aquarius, in a fixed sign, and Scorpio is also a fixed sign. They know what they want, and they are kind of radical, and they're in a square. So with these two in a square, we want something so crazy and out there, but at the same time, we can also choose the more pure side, and this is the bipolar choice we have to make with all the Scorpio. And October, November is wild months, and Venus hasn't even reached the 4 degrees where the crazy zone is at. But now because the 4 degrees was also where we had different things going on. There's some long story, don't want to go too far into that, but around these degrees are the crazy stuff. And now we're starting to understand what this Venus retrograde is actually like for us in our lives, more concrete. We are on the way down into the underground, and we are asking ourselves, okay, how much deeper down into the SHIT can we come? Because we feel, now we took a step, But some of the steps we take are also putting boundaries to other people, saying yes, no to other people. And there's also this fear of, do they then respond and come back to us and give us some SHIT? And do we then have a battle? Because Scorpio is such an aggressive sign as well, right? So, it's also dealing with this fear. Keeping the innocent side of you alive, keeping the heart open is very important. And the question is, again, are you really who you think you are, or are you just identifying yourself with your ego? You have to find out now who you are. Well, again, Scorpio is pressure. The sign of Scorpio is pressure. Pressure to grow no matter where we are. We face ourselves, so we think that it's other people, that it's about other people, but it's you're facing when you're meeting resistance. Right? It's you're facing, and you have to dare in Scorpio to be who you really are. And when Mars in Aquarius at the same time wants enlightenment, but then you have to deal with your SHIT if you want that. And Venus in Scorpio is asking, like, are you escaping? Are you hiding? Are you cheating? Are you stealing? Are you lying? Do you feel and follow yourself, or do you follow others and their idea about wrong and right? I mean, in relationships, if we don't try to change ourselves now, nothing, this Venus, is going to happen. You have to look upon how you can change. And Mars and Venus in square, which is still repercussions from it now, in this week, like, our relationships are changing. They're not the same as for 10 years ago. But we all have both Mars and Venus somewhere in our chart. And the one is more conscious than the other. And that side we suppress can, in a square situation, sneak in on the other, more conscious part of you. So you really have to be aware of, are you more masculine than feminine? And once the opposite side of what you are more is going to come about, then you know, okay, I may have to feed this side that's out of balance. That is the last week of Libra. You need to see which side in you are out of balance. Are you always giving? You need to learn to be the receiver and get your yin energy, your feminine side out. And most of us have too much masculine. We are giving. When is the time for you to receive? Venus wants attention now. Give it to her. Be vulnerable. Dare to be sensitive. Dare to feel. Dare to be. Let your feminine side out. Doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. I'm not talking about gender. The feminine side. And so basically what we're doing now is we're renegotiating our relationships. We're investigating our relationships. We have to change. We're being detectives. We have to change boundaries, and it can feel really weird. So, like 2018 is all about, changing on a personal level, clearing out old karma. The inner world is getting cleared, of course. So these huge changes in inside of us is what this week is about. And last week of the Libra season here, it's all about the balance out in the relationship. So it's time to get what we deserve also. Time to draw some boundaries. Libra, Scorpio. So the moon is going to be in Capricorn over Pluto first. And that's the death of a new era. starting Monday, Tuesday. And then the moon is going to be in Aquarius, and where we really like, okay, we detach from all the chaos around us because we can just say, oh, F it, I'm not in it. I'm out here in my mental world. And then we're ending up in Pisces at the very end of the week, we enter a new moon phase in the traditional astrology with Aries, and the Monday, Tuesday. And then the moon is going to be in Aquarius, and where we really like, okay, we detach from all the chaos around us because we can just say, oh, F it, I'm not in it. I'm out here in my mental world. And then we're ending up in Pisces at the very end of the week, we enter a new moon phase in the traditional astrology with Aries, and the moon is in Pisces. We have to rely upon God, right? So this is a week we're clarifying things, changing things, and we're detaching, and then ending up with a more intuitive side, right? So, like fate, destiny is on the table when we are talking also about Capricorn. So it's with Pluto, there's subconscious pushes towards the motives that we have, and we have to notice these signs that comes in our lives from our higher selves through our intuition. And in the Venus retrograde, we are listening to them more because the Venus is the feminine receptive side is more here. So we take the time to listen to the more spiritual side of ourselves also. In Scorpio, also because of the domino effect of everyone else doing so, then the energy is there. We are in that classroom here on Earth. So first off, in Libra, we were establishing the balance with our inner stuff, and the relationship with ourselves. Then. And then in our relationships in regards to other people. And now, this week, it's more like specific relationships that are the really important ones we're working with now. Find the right soulmates. Find the right teammates at your work, in our lives in general, of course. And we are following the emotional parts. We're following the intuitive parts, the heart now. And so this is new territory we're walking upon. And if you have a hunch and an intuition about something or others, or if something you feel about people, then follow it, We're breaking through this week, and you're starting to see the opportunities that you didn't see before. And we live in a new ascensional level, the quantum physical world that was introduced to us in the zeros, to many of us light workers in the zeros. I remember even in the late 90s, it started really coming up, like because both of my parents are librarians, so I got it. My father's critic as well, so I got the books from him, and I just remember, like, anything right now we can get that we believe we can is possible. If you can see it, it can happen. But you have to know and see and feel that it can happen. There's so much information to get from the Akashic Records, the Universal Library of Info. Just tune in, just log on the internet, the spiritual net, and you get information. I was born with Mercury in Pisces. That means that I don't rationalize as much as you might think. Of course, I also do, because I have a lot in Virgo, but I primarily get my info from my intuition. And this is what we can do with quantum physics. We can enter this information where we can also things and make them go much faster as well. A quantum level and a quantum degree of going through processes at a much faster level. We can change things just through a decision, right? We are not that limited as we thought we were. You're coming on a deeper level in relationships too, and you can really use this information that I just gave you to move forward faster. Because all of this week is a part of this relationship change. So new alignments in the world and in your world is coming. Definitely, I'm positive about it. And the Venus-Mercury conjunction Monday, you're really going to see how things where things are broke and where they have to be fixed, and you'll see how you can where you have to go towards and where you don't have to go towards. So the old can tempt you to go back, but you have to take a heartful decision and go forwards. And yes, that creates a risk, but who
ever gained anything if we weren't following their heart and taking risks. You have to take a risk this week and do something about things. You cannot sleep upon it anymore. Time is now. Stop procrastinating your life. It's your responsibility, no one else's. If you don't do something now, you have lost the train and the chance. Don't sacrifice your boundaries either. If people overstep your boundaries, say something. You don't have to make a speech. Say it shortly. A well-set boundary is a boundary set. This you don't do anymore. You don't even have to say period, because that is just in the air. And people are like, yeah, but this you don't do anymore. Of course, if the person really wants an explanation, okay, I can give it to you, but I have to let you understand that this is my boundary. So in the beginning of the week, we are kind of like divorcing people and having the final conversations with the ones that aren't going to go on the train with us or on the flight into the new realm and world we're doing in relationship-wise. And yeah, so you have to look upon the boundaries, of course, then, and of course the emotions will intensify some this week and also get a little unclear at times, but you just have to trust the process, right? So ask yourself, what is it that I deserve in my life? What do I really want? With whom do I belong? Where do I want to be? And what do we want to really do with our lives? So at the beginning of the week, you look upon what are the possibilities for me, and at the end you are like, okay, these were my possibilities, now I do it. This is the one that I'm committing to. These are the people. This is the one I want to marry. This is the one I want to do business with. This is the one I want to have kids with. This is the one I want to be friends with. This is the one that I want to start a family with, build a project with, have a friendship with. And then once you've seen that at the beginning of the week, then you go for it at the end of the week. You say to that person, yes, you're the one. Let's do this. And you take that chance. There's a Rumi saying, goodbyes are only for those who love with their eyes. For those who love with their heart and soul, there's no separation. So don't be afraid if you have to say goodbye. It's all good. It's all good. Don't follow trends, follow your heart. Thanks for watching. Namaste.
There is this angel saying, I'm gonna find my way back home. The secret is love, he said. You've got to lift yourself up, try again. One day you will break through. What you long for will find you. Through all the hard times, I always seem to find the light in your eyes. We fall through.
Don't follow trends, follow your heart.